Here's the Louvre. It was the palace of the kings for 3 centuries. No, we're not going in here because later we're going to a better museum, that's right. But we'll do the name game. The Louvre is named for a wolf. Wolves lived here in this forest right here. This was a hunting lodge for the nobility, a louverie, a place to hunt wolves. Then it was a medieval castle in the 12th century. Then a Renaissance castle. Then it was rebuilt in the 16th century. Then renovated again in the 1800s. Look at this guy on a horse. That's Louis XIV. He called himself the Sun King. Bit of an ego. So the horse is pointed towards the L'Arc de Carrousel, which was built by Napoleon to celebrate military victories. Then he built a bigger one, the Arc de Triomphe on the Champs-Élysées back there, and in between there's an obelisk. That's the Place de la Concorde. This is the oldest landmark in town. It's 3,000 years old. It came from Luxor, Egypt, and was brought in the 1830s. The pyramid was finished in the early 90s. Some like it not. In Paris, when someone builds something new, it's criticized for 50 years and then accepted. Eiffel Tower, Opera House, Pompidou Art Museum, still hated. The pyramid was designed by an American, Ming Pei. It's made out of modern material with ancient shape. Anyway, the area had been a parking lot, so that's a big improvement, even if you don't like the pyramid and won't for another 50 years. This is the Comédie Française, the temple of French theater. Comedy meant theater, don't ask me. To play here was the pinnacle of ambition for actors. The personal playwright of Louis XIV, whatever that meant, this playwright was also an actor, often the main character in his own plays. His name was Jean-Baptiste Poquelin, better known as Molière, after a southern French village where some of his family came from. He actually died on stage right here. Literally. He didn't bomb, he just died. In his last play, as it happens, 1673, La Malade Imaginaire, a comedy about a guy pretending to be sick so his friends would do him favors. As it happens, Molière actually had TB at the time and died on stage. He was wearing a green shirt at the time, and to this day you cannot act on a French stage wearing green. Here in the Palais Royal around 1780 lived Philippe of Orléans, cousin of Louis XVI. During the Revolution, he changed his name to Philippe d'Égalité, slightly opportunist. Well, in 1793, the vote passed in the assembly of which he was a member to kill the king, Philippe's cousin. Passed by one vote, Philippe's. 6 months later, they voted to kill him too. Oh well. Now this downtown mega mall, Les Halles, the Halls, anybody in their right mind hates this place. Up until the 60s, it was a metal-covered market. Florists, bakeries, cheese, fish, vegetables from all around France. It was called Le Ventre de Paris, the belly of Paris. Jack Lemmon worked there in Irma la Douce, just so you know. People worked at night to clean it up, finished at 3 a.m. There was no place open to eat, only au pied de cochon. That's the foot of the pig. Famous meal with pea soup, pig with a bottle of wine. It's still open 24/7. Not cheap now. There's some 200 of these passages, malls, galleries under Paris. In the 1830s, number 13 Gallery Vivienne was the office of the detective Eugène Vidocq, the main inspiration for Victor Hugo's Jean Valjean in Les Mis. Vidocq was in the French army at 16 in the 1790s. He deserted, was captured, sent to a penal colony, a quarry near Toulon, breaking rocks in a ball and chain just like in Les Mis. I've never seen it, but I know all about it. Released, he takes up a job as a criminal in Paris, but promotes himself after 10 years to snitch. Then he graduates to detective and opens his agency here. He invented putting plaster on footprints in mud to ID the shoe. He also invented plainclothes police. Maybe. He knew all the slang of the criminals and could do the job. La Place de Petit Père. Under German occupation, the puppet regime had their offices here. Le Commissariat aux Affaires Juives was here. In 1940 to 42, they were busy listing all the Jews so they could deny them jobs and steal their assets and make sure they were all equipped with yellow stars. Then they graduated to deportations. These were French functionaries, not Germans. The charge d'affaires, Javier Vallat, he was fired by the Germans in 42 for insufficient racism. I gotta say 2 things about the Tuileries Gardens and all gardens in Paris. There were certain people who didn't like flowers because they were considered Dutch. So some gardens have no flowers. How about that? The other thing is about the disarmed statues, that is, the ones with the missing arms. Well, that kind of thing happened during the Revolution. While you're looking at these wonderful statues, I just want to mention that the French National Gold Reserve was held 4 levels underneath the city. At a certain point in World War II, there was 1,000 metric tons of gold bars. It took 3 keys held by 3 people to get it open. Well, under the German occupation, the French sneaked it out. They put it on a train to Bordeaux, then onto a ship to Martinique in the Caribbean. The Germans pursued the boat, but the British fleet blocked them. Later, the gold was returned to the colonies in the Middle East and Africa. Or not. Having spiced up our vacation with tales of the French Revolution and the Second World War, we'll take a break for a relaxing cruise down the Seine, where I'm sure there's plenty of political skullduggery and intrigue, but we'll ignore that for a half hour or so before getting back to class struggle, patriarchy, and French neo-imperialism. Did I say neo-imperialism? Sorry, neo-impressionism.